Hi everyone, this is Meg Owen with my professional development project presentation. I first wanted to wish everybody good luck on finals week for the coming end of the semester, and I hope everyone's getting finished with their projects and tests and whatnot. I do have to say this was one of my favorite classes I've ever taken, ever. It connected a lot with my job and my career now and currently. I learned many strategies that I can use. I learned why some of the people I work with act the way they act. I am at work now, but I'm on lunch, so nobody's here. But I really, really enjoyed this class. So we'll just get right into it. My topic is communication, and it focuses on an interpersonal challenge for leaders of all kinds. Now I'm going to focus on UK Extension, and I tend to talk about Extension in general because there is Extension in every state, but because I work for them, I know that's taking quite, a bit of a risk, but it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be brought to the attention of the people. So the challenge for leaders is what I'll be focusing on with communication. So let's go right into it. For an introduction, I pretty much explained that there is a lack of communication in our extension program. I researched it because I had realized throughout the semester how much it connected to my job, and there's not really any communication in our office. This is why my job in particular is very hard. I'm the only program assistant in an office of 3 supervisors and then some staff assistants. So I'm pulled in all kinds of directions, but there's no communication between the leaders. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, and that's why I started this project and this subject. So social intelligence, you have to have that when you're a leader, and the emphasis is on communication. There's even there's books and research papers that I saw that were titled, communication is the most important thing for an organization, or websites that I saw that had the same title. Communication is important in relationships, whether that be romantic relationships, familial relationships, friendships, anything. And then I also read for the definition of a leader, what makes a leader. You have to have emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and that was by Daniel Goleman. And then in Ulrich's book, he talks about what makes a socially intelligent leader, not just a leader. He's talking about the ability to engage and make potential relationships that you want to last. So he talks about empathy, dialogue skills, valuing that other person, making them feel important. That's what a socially intelligent leader is. And so I kind of ran with that and focus on the dialogue skills as well as the empathy with that. But the fact that he mentions specifically dialogue skills means that communication is very important. So the last point on here, if there are no communication skills in a leadership position, especially in extension, patrons quit participating, there is no leadership, and our progress for the community halts. So what we do for the community is give them practical information that they can use, kids, adults, seniors, anybody of any age. We give them practical information. So the words community and communication have the same base word. They go hand in hand. They have to. If you don't have communication, you don't have community, and vice versa. We have to communicate with the community. So the fact that we're struggling with that is showing that we need some strategies to work on. Okay, so the analysis, I pinpointed that interpersonal connection, or interpersonal communication, nonverbal communication, and hypocrisy in leadership were the main problems, and the main social intelligence theories that we needed to focus on. I read in Monarch that he explains how communication is your delivery, it is your, as it says, it's a tool for your delivery to use. You incorporate all 5 senses when you communicate. I just received a part-time job for VIP Kids, which is teaching Chinese students online, teaching them English. You don't have to know Chinese, but you have to use ESL, English Sign Language, and I use every sense that I have, and that my hands, everything, to communicate with them, because I don't speak Chinese. So if I sit there and just say, okay, put your cursor here and draw this, they're not going to know what I'm talking about. But if I show them, draw a circle, they know exactly what to do, even if they don't understand me. So I thought that was really interesting of Monarch to put in there, that it is a tool. And then in an article by Deepa Sethi and Manisha Seth, they even titled their article Interpersonal Communication, the Lifeblood of an Organization. That right there, it had so much to give and to offer for information. And then in executive presence, when you communicate, you don't want them to just hear you, you want them to feel you. They want to be connected to you. They don't want to just hear, go print this paper. Okay, well, print this paper because I would really like you to, and I'm getting ready to give them a reason, communicate with them. It's okay to share a little bit. You can use simple language and still share your emotions. But that was the point on nonverbal communication, because it establishes personal relationships just like talking does. And then hypocrisy seems like a weird point to make for communication, but it is all about communication. People aren't being held accountable here, and especially just hypocritical. We all do it. We're all hypocrites at some point in our lives. But it's when you're not held accountable for that hypocrisy, or you're not shown that that's not how you're supposed to behave or react. So they need further research on that, but I did find a lot of research pushing for more evaluation methods, which is what we lack on. We do not have evaluation for our leaders. So I thought that was really important. The impact of communication skills, both negative and positive. This I focused on mostly negative for why we need communication skills. A negative work environment. Sometimes I don't want to come into the office because I feel like I'm not going to be communicated with. I'm not going to be told what I need to do. And I'm being pulled in directions by 3 different people with 3 different personalities, all on the same equivalent level. So it's really, really hard to know what they want. No productivity or progress, because, when we think we're supposed to do this, but this person told us to do this, there's no communication between the leaders. So workers are kept in the dark. I can't explain how many times I've had people come in and say, where's this person? And we have to say, oh, let's check the calendar, and no, we'd have no idea. There's nothing on there. There's no communication, no written communication on it. So we need those skills to be definitely pinpointed. The leaders do not communicate plans to other leaders, which that's the really bad connection, because that leaves a bad connection with the community. There have been so many instances where, and don't get me, everyone makes mistakes, every organization does, but this happens across the state and across the country with Extension, because there is no one held accountable for what they're doing. So, when they do make a mistake, things happen where two people are in the same place at the same time, and one of them doesn't need to be there. That's happened a lot. Or nobody's there because nobody was able to communicate that or pass it along. Or you think you're supposed to keep something to yourself when in actuality, sharing it, especially if it deals with work environment, it's okay. If they don't want to hear it, they can tell you they don't want to hear it. But I read a book, it's called Girl Code, and anybody should read it, but it's for female entrepreneurship, and it's really good. And the quote in the book says, they were telling people, just go with your gut. If you feel comfortable asking for help, do it. Empowering someone should feel good, help them in return. And actually this quotation mark is supposed to be at the very end there. I apologize for that. But helping them in return, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay if leaders ask for help. I think that's the discrepancy in the communication, is they're afraid to ask for help. So instead of asking for help, they make decisions and don't communicate with each other. So I think that's a big part of it, but it's a really good book to read. Strategies that I think would be best, lessons in leadership and communication. They are now putting specific soft skill classes in undergrad for certain students to learn that, because human resources is the advantage on other organizations. If you have a good human resource department, chances are you have a better organization than another organization of the same. And that was by Ritter, Small, Mortimer, and Dahl. Crucial Conversations, which there was the video on it, but I didn't use the video for a reference. I used Albrecht's book of social intelligence. Don't just try to avoid bad feelings. Misunderstandings happen when you don't clear them up. You could send somebody down the wrong path just for not having that conversation that you need to have, whether that be a coworker, a subordinate, or a leader. Either one. And then the last strategy I think should be equality and hypocrisy. Strategies, classes, learning. This would be calendar accountability, that everybody knows where you are. Reporting from staff and program assistants on the leader's work. Right now there is there's nothing put in place to look at the leader's job. There's no sort of system that says, oh, you're doing a really good job, or you could work on this. An evaluation system, there's nothing like that for them, which that is a big confusing. We have one director, and he'll just check in every now and then. He won't he won't ask for things. He'll just check in. How's everybody doing? And he's going off of their word. So this is a problem around extension in the state and the country, and in other organizations. These are general communication strategies. But rules, everyone should follow the same rules. So that avoids hypocrisy, and I think that's really important. Further research. So the community suffers big time here if we fail at communication. There's so many things that have happened that shouldn't have, but right now research is being done for all communication strategies, because they've realized that emotional and social intelligence are important. In the last 20 years, they finally realized that IQ is not the most important, and that's in Albrecht's book as well. But managers, employees, leaders, supervisors, co-workers, they should all have the same goals. It shouldn't just be, oh, I want to get this person in trouble, or I want to constantly criticize this person, or I don't want this person to be successful. Everybody should want efficiency, support, coordination, and communication at the bottom line. So with that in mind, thank you so much for letting me present this to you, and I hope we all can have communication success.